Hello and welcome to beautiful and sunny Newport, Oregon. We are down here at Port Dock number 7 in the historic bayfront next to the beautiful Mystic Isle. And today I just wanted to go through a commercial fisherman specific first aid kit that we put together at Oregon State University in conjunction with Oregon Sea Grant. We got recommendations from fishermen all up and down the West Coast, as well as wilderness first aid instructors. The first aid kits were organized by type of incident. So we have sprains and strains, consumables, topicals, wounds and burns, serious accidents, and then miscellaneous items. So things that don't necessarily have a particular purpose, but you might find useful to have in your kit. Now I'm going to go through each of the items in the first aid kit one at a time and tell you what they are, how many you need, and what you should use them for. The first item that I'm going to show you is from the consumables section. It is non-aspirin pain reliever, and you need you should have about 15 individual packets in your first aid kit or one bottle. The second item, commonly known as an antihistamine, this is Difen, which is the medical name. Again, you should have about 15 individual packets or one bottle of antihistamine in your first aid kit. Next, we have Dramamine or motion sickness tablets. This is for people that are experiencing motion sickness. And then finally, rounding out the consumables, we have honey sticks, a good way to give someone that is experiencing low blood sugar or having a diabetic issue to help them quickly. The next section I'm going to show you is the topicals. Good to have a waterproof sunscreen on board in your first aid kit. That can either be a small tube like this, or some people prefer a spray-on sunscreen, whatever you like, just as long as it's waterproof. You also want to have antiseptic wipes, at least 5 to 10 of these in your first aid kit. Iodine swabs, which are used to disinfect a wound, very important to have. And then triple antibiotic ointment, also used to prevent infections. You can get it in these individual use packets or in a tube. Some hand salve for any blisters, hand chafing, calluses, topical burn cream. These can be for chemical burns or actual like grease fire burns from the galley. The next section I'm going to cover is flesh wounds, which sounds dramatic, but that can be anything from a minor cut all the way up to a laceration. And it will include items like moleskin, which is used to cover blisters. You want to have 2 larger pieces in your first aid kit. You need several sizes of sterile rolled gauze, and this again would be for larger flesh wounds and lacerations. So a couple different sizes. You need waterproof bandages of several sizes. Sterile gloves, ideally non-latex, since many people do have latex allergies. At least 4 or 5 pairs. Butterfly closure strips. These are especially useful for any type of head wounds. And then finally, larger 4x4 gauze pads, 3 or 4 of these, again for larger lacerations. In this next section, we're going to share with you items to help treat sprains and strains, including a SAM splint, which is for larger extremity issues, instant cold packs, a triangular bandage, which can be used to make a makeshift sling for shoulder and arm injuries, elastic wraps, again to help bind sprain and strain injuries, cohesive bandage tape. This is especially helpful for small extremity injuries like finger strains and sprains. Athletic tape. This can also be used to bind strain and sprain injuries. We hope that you never have a bad accident on your fishing vessel, but just in case you do, we also have a bad accident section in our first aid kit. That includes items like an irrigation syringe, which is used to rinse out large wounds. Bandana, which can be used for a variety of purposes, but also as a tourniquet if need be. Along those same lines, there's a combat tourniquet, again, just in case there's a large accident that requires you to cut off blood supply to a wound. A blood clotting agent, and that can either be like this, like a powder, or a hemostatic gauze that helps blood to clot after a bad accident. All right, our final section in the first aid kit is just miscellaneous items. So these are things that you might find that you need but don't necessarily have a particular purpose. Tweezers, which can be good for getting out splinters. waterproof notebooks so that you can write down any notes. If someone does have a bad accident, you want to make sure that you are recording it for the Coast Guard and EMS personnel. A pair of trauma shears. These can be used to cut off bandages, they can cut rope, they can cut somebody tangled in fishing line, lots of purposes. Small roll of duct tape, again, it's just an all-purpose tool you can use in place of a bandage or many things. A microfiber towel, which can be used to clean or dry an area before administering first aid. We have about 25 feet of parachute cord included in our first aid kit for a variety of miscellaneous purposes. We have some space blankets that are great for helping people stay warm, especially if they've been in the water. It can help with preventing signs of hypothermia. Once you've finished assembling all the items for your first aid kit, we recommend that you have a variety of plastic bags to put things in. And then you can either get a dry bag like this one or a Rubbermaid tote to keep your items in on your fishing vessel. To find a list of all the materials in the Fisherman First Aid Kit, as well as other helpful materials, please visit us at flippresources.org.